Okay, so I click, let's see. Oh, screen share right here.
Yes.
Do you want me to screen share? Sorry, this is kind of a weird question, but do you want me to screen share my desktop so you can see all your faces, or screen share just my Chrome where you can see my presentation? Like, you want both or just
you could do just the presentation. I think that's fine.
Okay.
That's usually how I do it.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Getting on and for wanting to listen to me talk. I'll share a little bit about myself. I started coaching almost 3 years ago. May 15th will be my 3-year mark. I can't believe it. I love coaching, obviously. I have IBS, and when I started coaching, it was just because Shakeology was like the thing that like changed my life. And so I knew I needed to share that with other people. And so I started coaching with Brigida and just kind of went for it from the very beginning. I feel like I've taken a lot of ownership in my business and just gone for it. And I think one of the reasons is that I have a lot of self-confidence. I've always had a lot of self-confidence. It's never been something that I've struggled with really at all. And as I've coached, I've worked with so many coaches who do struggle with self-confidence. And so in that time, I've kind of, done a lot of personal development and kind of realized like, what are the things that I'm doing that has made it so that I'm a confident person and a confident coach. And I really believe that when you're confident in what you're sharing, and you're confident in your posts, you're confident in your conversations and working with your team, your business grows so much more than if you are, always second guessing yourself and, struggling to really believe in your ability to be a successful coach. So a couple stats, I guess, about me are I'm a 3-star coach. I have, I think, 6 lifetime diamonds. And I'm a Success Club All-Star team leader on the leadership ladder. So working on some things. Hopefully this year I'll be elite. That's my goal. So anyway, I'll go ahead and start with the first slide. And this webinar is called Success is an Inside Job, because once you can be confident and work on yourself, I really believe is when you have success. The amount of success you're going to have in coaching and in your life is a result of how much you're taking care of yourself and believing in yourself and just working on your personal development. So this is one of my very favorite books. I highly recommend you get the actual book because the audiobook is abridged, and this is also something that you will highlight the heck out of. It's I'm actually in a mastermind with a success coach, and she's a certified master trainer with Jack Canfield with this book. And so that's why I first picked up this book, and it's like totally been amazing. I love it. But one of the first things they talk about is accountability. And now accountability is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And accountability is always about you. It's never about the other person. It's never about making somebody else accountable. It's always about you being accountable for your life. So taking 100% responsibility means that you acknowledge that you create everything that happens to you. You are the cause of your experiences, which is really liberating, because if you realize that if you create it, then you can uncreate or recreate it at will. So that also means you have to give up your excuses forever. So this little thing down here at the bottom, it says event plus response equals outcome. It's such a simple thing, but it's so powerful. So basically people will look at it at their life and they'll say, well, these events equaled my outcome, but it's not just the events, it's the response as well. It's your response. So it's you that equals the outcome. Okay. And even if you can write this down and put it on your bathroom mirror or something, it's true. How you respond to things that are happening is, whether you are causing your life or you're just an effect of your life. So when you change your response to the event, you can get the outcome that you want. So you need to regain control of your thoughts, your images, your dreams, your daydreams, your behaviors, the things you think, the things you say, the things you allow. They all need to become intentional and aligned with your purpose, aligned with what you want to create in your life, the kind of person that you want to be. So there's this book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was in a concentration camp, and he saw a lot of really, really hard things. And when he got out of that concentration camp, he wrote this book in 11 days. And basically what he said is that we decide what things mean. What he learned from being in a concentration camp, like something that none of us will ever have to experience, like he learned that we decide what things mean. So the people that he saw that survived, and, what he saw there was that, I don't know how to explain it, but that like, even in the most horrible circumstances you could ever possibly imagine, people could still come out of that like a better person. They could still come out of that and change their life, but it depended on what they decided it meant for them in their life. And I believe that's true for us. Like we all have pasts, right? We all have, things we've been through and disappointments we've had, situations we're struggling with. We've all had, well, not all of us, but a lot of people have had, I don't know, maybe struggles with eating disorders or issues with their kids or marital problems or, losing a job or starting a new job or whatever it is. But we need to choose to be accountable. And that's where it all starts. And we can choose to say like, look, I am responsible for the events happening in my life. I am responsible for my thoughts. I am responsible for my images and my actions. We can, change our life. So let's see, let me go to the next slide here. So this is kind of the magic question with coaching and with life. And I tell it to my team all the time and I love it. But it's the make or break. It's the deal maker or the deal breaker in your business. Honestly, 100%. This is the most important thing you can get from my webinar today is this magic question. How willing are you to be uncomfortable to get what you want? That's it. Like, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Is it comfortable to wake up at 5 a.m? Is it comfortable to do your workout? Is it comfortable to reach out to that person that you want to reach out to? Is it comfortable to do a team call for your team? Like, a lot of these things are not comfortable for us. And if we just want to stay in our comfort zone, then we're not going to grow. And that's okay. That's our choice. But we have to understand that if we want the results we want, we have to be uncomfortable. And here's the thing is that fear is just fear because it's this unknown thing, right? It's just like we're afraid of the unknown. But something I tell myself a lot is that the feeling in my body of fear is the same feeling in my body of excitement. Like my palms will get sweaty and I'll get excited and I'll get nervous. I might get tongue-tied. Like I could view that as fear, or I can look at that and say, no, that's not fear. That's just excitement. That's enthusiasm. I'm excited because being uncomfortable is actually kind of the spice of life. Like when you do something that's scary and hard and you succeed at it, or even if you fail, just doing it is like, oh my gosh, that was so fun. So I can, some examples are whenever I've gone on like vacations and, trips, if I don't have my kids, I always want to do something scary. Like we'll do zip lines, parasailing, like whitewater rafting, like things that are just really out of my comfort zone, because always looking back, like those are always my favorite part of the trip. They're always like, oh, wow, I'm so glad that I did that because I got myself out of my comfort zone. And that is where the magic happens. And you guys, being comfortable, growing your comfort zone is just a muscle. So just like when we work out and, we lift weights, we're building that muscle because we're tearing it down and we're rebuilding it. It's the same thing with our comfort zone. So your comfort zone's here and you do something, maybe it's making a phone call. I'm terrified of getting on the phone. It's like the stupidest thing ever. I'll get on the phone with my team. But like, I hate getting on the phone with people who want to talk about coaching or whatever, but I do it all the time because I know I have better results when I do it, versus just like sending them just a random YouTube video or something. I have better results when I make that connection on the phone, someone interested in my team. but it scares me every single time. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get on the phone and not be uncomfortable, but my comfort zone around that area, around that issue, has grown so much. It's not nearly as paralyzing for me as it was the first time that I did it. Okay, so like I was saying before, confidence is a choice. It's a choice and it's a habit. So a lot of people will say like, well, I'm just not a confident person. You know, I have these things from my past, or I've just never been this way. I've always been shy. I'm an introvert, whatever. Like, they give their excuses. I could give my excuses too. But the truth is, it's just a choice. And you can choose to make it a habit. You can choose to do things that are going to grow your confidence. And I'm going to give you some things that you can do in a little bit here. But align your behaviors to the belief that you are valuable and you are worthy of success. And that's kind of where it's going to start. So we're going to start by talking about self-care. And this is so important. The truth is, you are your number one asset. Your jersey has to say your name on the back. That's it. Like, it's not selfish. It's not wrong. You're not a bad mom, a bad wife, a bad coach, anything. If you put yourself first, you have to put yourself first. Okay. I don't know what it is about our society and our culture where we think like it's selfish to put yourself first. It's not. I'm just going to say it's not. It's not. So here's some reasons why. So we've all heard that analogy, and I'm going to give it again, but the analogy of the airplane, right? You get on an airplane and they tell you to put your oxygen max, in the case of an oxygen dropping or whatever, put it on yourself before putting it on your child. So like this little guy right here. You put, oh, he's going to get me. Here. You put it on yourself first. Why? Why would they do that? Like, as a parent, my first thought is probably going to be to put it on the baby than myself. But the reason why they say that is because if I lose oxygen, then I can't help anyone. Then I pass out. And I can't help my children. I can't help anyone else. And that's true with coaching and with our businesses. You've got to be willing to do your vital behaviors and do your business first. So I'm talking to all of you, new diamonds out there. I know it's so easy to go into management mode and just be like, I'm going to do all this amazing stuff for my team. And you should do those amazing things for your team. But you've got to take care of your business first, which means you've got to do your invites. You've got to get your challenge groups going. You got to fill those challenge groups. You've got to keep building your team and adding coaches every month to your team. Like, you've got to, when you put your business first, and instead of saying, well, I'm going to put this coaches on my team's business before mine, when you put your business first, you're setting the right example, and you have more to give to help them because you're having success. They're seeing your success. You're learning from your challengers. You're learning, and you can give so much more than if you're just focused on them. And the same is true in life with our families, with our kids. You can only run on a tank for so long before you have to fill it up. And I can attest to that. Like, there's times when I am not taking care of myself. And I'm not giving myself the time I need to do my workouts, to do my meal planning, to do my personal development, to have just some alone time, to do some things that just make me happy. And I'm giving it all to my business. I'm giving it all to my kids. I'm giving all my time to keeping my husband happy, keeping our house clean, whatever it is. And then I just fall apart. And then I have like a day or two filling my crap and just bottomed out. And it's this vicious cycle. And I'll tell you, it really can destroy your self-confidence to have that cycle going. And so start putting yourself first. Like, I put this little bucket here just because, you might have heard that saying, like, fill your bucket. But it's true. You have to fill your bucket before you can fill anyone else's. So here's something that I have started doing this year. And it has been really amazing for me. And I've had my team doing it as well. And it's the ones who are taking it seriously and doing it, because I did this call with them about 2 months ago. The ones who are taking it seriously, they're feeling a lot better. Life is meant to be happy and fun and joyful. And look, this business isn't always joyful. Sometimes it's hard. And that's okay. But if you're taking care of yourself, you're going to be fine. You're going to do great in your business. You've got to take care of yourself. So morning ritual is super important. So start your morning off with a morning ritual. And for some of us, it's an hour. For some of us, it's 20 minutes. But wake up early, and even before you do your workout, do a little bit of morning ritual. So your morning ritual needs to have 3 components to it. It needs to have a spiritual component, a mental component, and a physical component. And so the spiritual component, let me find my notes on this one. So the spiritual component is, yes, okay. I forgot one thing I wanted to say really quick, is that successful people have rituals. So that's why I'm telling you need to have a morning ritual. Successful people have habits and rituals. They have schedules, and they work from habit and from ritual. And so a morning ritual is incredibly important. And in fact, there's a study that says 40% of our daily actions are not conscious decisions. Crazy. So what if 40% of your income wasn't conscious? Or 40% of your invites aren't really conscious? Or 40% of your posts aren't really conscious? Like you're just kind of going with the whim of things, and you're not like intentionally taking action. 40%, like, okay, somebody told me my I'm telling you earlier, I'm in this mastermind group, and she said something on a call that just was like, it killed me. And she was like, I was telling her how I want to get to a 6-figure business. Like I've been close for a while and I just can't seem to get there. And she's like, oh, you want to know where your 6 figures are? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, they're wrapped up in your notifications. But it's so true, because I allow myself to get distracted because I don't have a ritual. You know what I was doing? The first thing I was doing when I wake up was pulling out my cell phone. That's exactly the first thing. Even before I get out of bed, unless I was getting out of bed to take care of him or Alma, I was pulling out my phone and like just, scrolling in my messages, going to my Team Beachbody office, looking at my volume, like whatever. I was not being intentional, and I was allowing the world to start my day on their agenda instead of starting my day on my own. So now I do these 3 things, and they're amazing. So first is spiritual. Just a second. Okay, do you want to step up? Oh, sorry guys. I'm going to just put him on the ground to play for a minute. I know. So the first is spiritual. And honestly, like one thing I've learned in the last few months that I love is when you wake up in the morning, just say thank you. Like, thank you, God, for another day of life. Like, how amazing is that to start your day with gratitude? It's beautiful. So just that is an amazing way to start your day. Another thing you can do is to start with a mental thing. So we all know about that, which is basically personal development. So we do personal development. All right. So we do personal development, and, it's an important thing to us, and we talk about it. But like one of the things I started doing was I picked a book that I keep on my nightstand. So I normally listen to audio. I don't have a lot of time to read books, but I picked a book that I keep on my nightstand, and I just read like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And I still do my other personal development, but just starting my day, like reading a really good book that I like that's uplifting to me, is amazing for me. Another thing you could do is like scripture study if you read scriptures or whatever, but something like physical in your hand that's not electronic. And then the other thing for your morning ritual is physical. So a lot of us work out first thing in the morning, which is awesome, but a lot of us don't because it doesn't work for us or whatever. We like to work out later in the day. So if that's you, that's okay. But I would still recommend doing something physical in your morning ritual, even if it's just stretching or doing like a couple yoga moves and just getting your body moving. can, really kind of stimulate that happy feeling to start your day. So another thing is no cell phones. So if you are one of those people who you're doing what I was doing, and the first thing you're doing in the morning when you wake up is you're looking at your phone, stop. It's not setting the intention for your day that you deserve to be setting for your day. And so stop doing it. That might mean you need to put your phone on airplane mode when you go to sleep. That might mean you need to just put your phone on another part of the room. Like you might need to buy an alarm clock and not use your phone for an alarm if it's too tempting. Turn off all your notifications. You don't need those things. We've said this before. You've heard it from other coaches, but it's true. So turn those things off. And just give yourself some time, you guys. If you don't stop to just give yourself some time to just be like, just to meditate or think or just whatever, like you don't have time to dream. You just get into the daily grind of taking care of kids and your business and everyone else. Like you've got to take care of yourself. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 20 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. Just do something. So one thing that I started doing that I love is there's an app called Insight Timer. And it has guided meditations because I have a hard time just meditating in silence. So it has guided meditations, and there's some really good ones on there. So there's like toning bowls on there, and then there's just like morning, visualization or abundance visualization. But they're so nice. Like I just listen to them in the morning when I wake up, and it's cool too because when I put it on my phone, when I push play on the meditation, it blocks out notifications from happening on my phone. So if somebody's like trying to like texting me or something, I'm not going to hear it, which is nice because I can just do my meditation for, 7 minutes or whatever, however long it is. All right. And then end your day with you. So all day long, you're taking care of other people, you're taking care of your team, you're taking care of your kids. That is great. Start your day with you though, and end your day with you. So this is something that is, it gets a lot of resistance from people, but it's beautiful and it's going to be really good for your self-esteem. And so it's called mirror work. And what it is at night before you go to bed, you can do it while you're brushing your teeth, right after you brush your teeth. I want you to look in the mirror at yourself, eye contact with yourself. And I want you to out loud, if you can do it out loud, if it's too weird, if it's weird, just do it anyway, because it's good for you. But like if it's too weird that your family's like, sometimes some people's like husbands or kids are like, what the heck are you doing? If that's too weird, then do it in your head. But if you can do it out loud, please do it out loud. And I want you to say like, what are your wins today? So like yesterday I had a really rough day, like for the first half of the day. And like, I'm not even kidding you. Like I was like, good job, Nina, for getting out of bed. Like, good job for doing a load of dishes. Like I'm serious because I was in a place where maybe I wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like just that's a win. That was a win for me. So, and then do affirmations. I am enough. I am worthy. I forgive you. I trust you. I allow myself to receive. I love you. And you can even add on to that. Like I allow myself to receive 5-star diamond, like whatever your goal is. I trust you. I forgive you for yelling at the kids. Like you can say that, like, it's okay to say, I forgive you. Please do. And I know like there will be resistance probably for all of you, but do it tonight. Try it. I know it feels weird to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, good job, girl. Like, I love you, but do it. And if it feels too weird and you're like, I can't, if it feels like inauthentic, if it feels like just a joke, then add the word learning in there. So I am learning to forgive you. I'm learning to trust you. I'm learning that I'm enough. And that might feel a little bit more authentic to you. And then the last thing I want to talk about to help grow your self-confidence is to make time for joy. So The Happiness Advantage is an awesome book. I know a lot of people love it. I've heard people say they didn't like it. But looking at some of the statistics of it, though, is that people who are happy do better, basically. Like if you're a happy person, you're going to do better in your marriage, you're going to do better with your kids, you're going to do better in your business. Like, so I want you to make a 30 items list, and it's called your joy list. And at least 1 hour a week, I want you to do things on your joy list. And I don't want your joy list to be business things, okay? So, and I know some of you like working out is your joy, but I want you to add other things like getting a massage or going shopping, or I don't know, maybe that's like not joy to you at all, but joy to you is like going camping, or I don't know. And they don't have to cost money. At least half the things, make sure they don't cost money. But make time for you so that you have time to dream. And the more joy you have in your life, the happier you are, the more confident you're going to be. I promise. So take time for joy. You need to take time for yourself. And I know there's a lot of things I could have talked about to this team, but I just feel like sometimes with coaching, we take a lot of time for other people. And that's okay. That's good. Like, it's good to be in service. But a lot of us are moms, and a lot of us have a lot going on, and it's important that we take time for ourselves. So if this is a wake-up call for you, please wake up and, take time for yourself. And I'm going to skip that slide. Okay. So the last thing I want to say is how to sell with confidence. And honestly, there's no trick. It's just love what you're doing. I love this quote: fall in love with what you're selling and sell the love. Fall in love with what you're selling and sell your love, by Wayne Dyer. I love that because it's true. Like, what do you love about Beachbody? Do you love the Shakeology? Do you love the challenge groups? Do you love the coaching? Do you love your team? Like, what are the things that you love the most? All you need to do is talk about those things with people. All you need to do is share those on your social media. Like, you will sell. You will sell your love if you're coming from your love. If you don't love this, find what you love. If you can't find what you love, then you're in the wrong business, because you have, that's sales. Sales is love. It's nourishing your networks. It's loving on people. It's nourishing your relationships and your conversations and just loving them. So that's the final slide, and I will go get my baby now, because I just let him cry for 5 minutes. And I forgive myself for that. And then open it up for questions. Hey, baby. Oh, it's a good boy. Look. Anyone have any questions for me? It doesn't have to be on this webinar. It can just be Beachbody general questions.
Can you take it off screen share so we can do full screen again?
Yes. So do I click stop share?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Yes. Okay, you guys, unmute yourself. And we have a 3-star diamond on, so ask questions. Ask Nina lots of questions. She's amazing. I am going to unmute you if you're not already unmuted.
Any questions? Come on, guys. I'll just make up my own questions and start talking.
Okay, mine's about notifications. When you turn them off, you turn everything off, right?
Yeah, turn everything off. In fact, on your Facebook, you know how you can view if someone's on chat?
Uh-huh.
Turn that off.
Turn that off too?
Everything off.
Do you keep it off all the time?
Yeah, only thing I get is texts. So my team knows that they can't text me. Because texts are the things I check always, because it's for family and friends. So if I have a friend who's a coach who texts me about a friend thing, then I'll respond. But if they text me about a Beachbody thing, I'm like, can you message me? Because that's the only thing I check all the time. The rest of the time I really try to work on business hours, and I'm not perfect, but it does really help to try to do that.
Okay. I guess my thing with the notifications is I never know if I'm not good at going back and looking at my posts to see if somebody's commented or anything. That's my thing.
Well, you can turn them off and still go look at them. So sorry, you can keep talking. Okay, so you can turn off everything and still go see it. So everything's off, but if I click on notifications, I can still scroll and see all this stuff. Does that make sense?
Your phone's just not going to beep at you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not going to distract you. And The distraction's not good. It's not good for your business. It's not good for your soul. It's not good. So just turn it all off. And yeah, and then you don't need to go click on your post. You can just go click on notifications and scroll and see like, wow, I have 50 notifications. I need to check on or whatever. Yeah. Anyone else?
Any other questions, you guys?
How do you turn the notifications?
How old is your son?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
My daughter's 8 months, and I'm just getting back into this. So I'm curious, how have you been able to balance it before and after?
So this is funny. It's something we were talking about on my team call last night with Becky, and it's that life is gonna life. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna have stuff happen. Jobs are gonna change. You're gonna move. Like, you're gonna have a life. And so going in, like, I knew I was pregnant. It wasn't a surprise that I was gonna have a baby. So what I did was the few months coming up to him being born, I did a ton of invites. Like, my nesting was invites, really. Like, I went kind of crazy. I kind of did. Like, I was in labor and I was signing up 2 coaches, like having control. It was crazy. But like, and so what that allowed me to do was for about 3 months after that, I hit Success Club 10 and I was signing up coaches, but I was only following up. Like, I wasn't even doing new invites because I was so like, oh my gosh, like trying to get through like having 2 kids now and like dealing with postpartum anxiety and like trying to figure out like how to breastfeed, which didn't work. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, it was just like, oh, but that's the thing. Like, if you know things are going to come, then plan for them. Now, sometimes things come up in life that we don't plan for. Like, we don't plan on your husband losing his job, or we don't plan on, you know, somebody dying. Like, those things, like, nobody plans on those things. But I think at that point, you just decide, like, okay, well, what are my non-negotiables? And you just keep doing it. So as far as, like, scheduling and stuff, like, it's been hard with 2 kids. It's definitely been a transition. And I think, like, but I don't really think my business has suffered, really, because, I don't know, like, I guess it's just because I created a lot of momentum before he was born, because I knew it was going to be hard. You know, and so now that the momentum's gone, because it's like he's 6 months now, I didn't do enough invites for 6 months. Like, I've had to work harder, but it's okay. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. So just get the momentum back. Just get the momentum back and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Any other questions? So I took lots of good notes, Nina, but actually I wanted to touch on what you were saying at the very beginning. Let me actually look back at my notes. You talked about the event plus the response equals your outcome.
Yeah.
And so I actually touched on this just a little bit on just a post I made on Facebook. So when I scheduled, okay, my kids came with me on the Success Club trip, and most of you guys know that. But I accidentally scheduled our flights home out of Orlando instead of out of Fort Lauderdale. So we got off the ship in Fort Lauderdale and had to drive 3 hours to catch our flights to go home. The turbulence coming home was the worst my husband and I have ever experienced. And we almost missed our flight. We were on the tarmac for 45 minutes. Our flights were like 3 minutes apart. When one was supposed to land, the other was supposed to board. So we were just convinced that we were going to get stuck in Denver. Thankfully, Denver got snow, and so they were de-icing our plane. So we ran 20 gates through the Denver airport. We were the last ones on our plane, but we made it, but our luggage didn't. Like, we had all these events happen, and I was just sitting looking at my kids, and they were giggling through the turbulence. Like, they thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I just thought, you know, all these things that happened, I could have had a really bad attitude and just said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. I'm so dumb. How did I schedule our flights? And now we have 3 hours. Like, I could have had such a bad attitude about it, but I was like, okay, well, I guess this means we get to get off the ship early. So there's that, you know, we don't have those like massive lines. They were only a tiny bit massive. And then I mean, you know, and so we just made the best of it. And with our 4 kids, and our 4 kids made the best of it. And they thought running through the Denver airport was absolutely fantastic. It was super fun, you know? So honestly, like, you could have 2 different attitudes. It could have been the worst thing ever, or it could have just been an adventure. And we chose to make an adventure, and we got home safe. And we had a great time, like traveling for 14 hours on that Thursday. We had a great time. And it all was just because the attitude that we chose to have.
Yeah. And you know, I see it with coaches so a lot. So I see people come to me and they're struggling and they're like, I need help because I'm having marital problems, and how do I post now, and how do I, and you know, they go like from hitting SC10 to 0, and I get that, like that can happen. But then I see coaches in the same situation who have the opposite effect. Like they're like, I'm going to use this as fuel. Like I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to share my story with the world and social media and my team. Like I'm going to, you know, and they do better in their business. Like their business grows. And it's not the event. The event's the same for both people. It's their response. It's how they choose to have an attitude about it, you know? And look, if you have a bad attitude about your business, you're going to have a bad business. You know, if you have a bad attitude about inviting, you're not going to have very good invites, you know? So, but the thing with attitude and with all that, like I was saying, is it's just a muscle. It's okay if you have a bad attitude some days. Like you can just work through it. You know what I mean? You can work through it. There's times when I'm like, screw this, I'm quitting. You know, like I totally, and even today, like I have times where, not today, but like now, like in my life, like there's times when I'm like, oh, I don't know, like this is hard. Like I even had the thought today actually, and I was like, maybe Elite's not that big of a deal. Like whatever, I don't even care. And I'm like, that's not true. I do care, but it's easy to like get apathetic when I like look at something and I'm like, oh, I'm not really on track for this goal. So I'm just going to be apathetic towards it. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it does matter. But it's all about my attitude. So yeah. Anyway, anything else?
Have any other questions for Nina? All right. Thank you so much for getting on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So appreciate it, Nina.
You're so welcome. And you guys, out of everything, like, I could leave you with so many things, but like, please take care of yourselves. Please do it. Like, do self-care. You know, you need more than just doing a workout, which is great. Do your workout, but like, you need to take care of yourself spiritually. And if that's not like driving with you, then emotionally, whatever. Like, you need to take care of yourself mentally. Like, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to do things that make you happy. Okay, like we can have hobbies. It's good. Like, we can have things we like to do. I'm obsessed with The Bachelor. Why? Like, it's the dumbest thing ever, but it makes me happy. Okay, like it's okay. So do things to take care of you. And then the other thing is that question. Write it down. Like, put it somewhere. But how willing am I to be uncomfortable to get what I want? That's make or break in this business. Like, I am only at 3-star because that's as comfortable as I've been. I could be a 15-star if I was willing to work on my comfort zone more. I know it's true. If I was willing to do more invites, work my butt hard, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm at because that's where my comfort zone is. I have to grow my comfort zone before I can get 5-star, before I can get elite. I know that. And it's true for you. You aren't going to go diamond until you grow your comfort zone to that point. And it's worth it. And you're worth it. So, all right. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.